Alright, let's talk about eVehicles for a bit. And this time we will tackle insurance, the issue that we as a community has been aware of since day one. We will talk about why it's good and why it's a big issue in this game and some ways to solve it. Remember to like the video if you find this amusing and subscribe to not miss out on more. And also tell me in the comment if you want me to cover anything else. And I really mean anything else. But let's comb our hair, bring out the fancy suit, and we talk about insurance. Now, insurance in this game is a nice way for new players in the early gameplay. They can make a few mistakes and whoops, they have their ship back. And they don't have to wipe their tears. So having it for the new players, let them play around a bit. You know, learning the game, so to speak. Cause it is a lot to take in. Like, what can you do in the game? What can't you do in the game? And why the hell did I die there? Stupid game situations. Now this can all be answered and they still didn't lose their ship. This is the reason I feel that insurance we have today is good. But as soon as you know what you're doing, this insurance becomes an exploit. And as soon as you're out from the introduction weeks, this actually hurts the game. The insurance should not be a free pass. It should not protect you from your actions within the game. The only purpose of an insurance should be to ease up on the pain that you feel when losing something valuable. Something like when your computer catches on fire and you see the USB is still intact. But I think this should only be the case if you purposely spent it on that very ship, just in case. This is not the case with the insurance we have today. Insurance today is basically a currency that you buy. A currency that will let you insure all your ships for 1/7 of the price. Our insurance today let us lose our ships 7 times to pay for one. And the amount of insurance points that we have makes us able to have a lot more ships that we also don't need to buy from the market. This means that we only actually need one ship of each type, making a big dent into industry. Because if we have 1,000 players, then we build 1,000 ships. And no matter how many or how big wars we have, those 1,000 ships will still circling around the game with no reason to buy new. And we all know this. So today, the insurance is just a bunch of in-game points that you allocate to whatever ship that you've lost for a full refund. This gives no depth, no thought whatsoever. You just collect a lot of insurance points and you use it as you please. It's hard to find a more good reason for this insurance than, you know, saving some tears for players who honestly plays the wrong game. There are games out there that don't have any losses. But if you want to experience exciting PvP fights that matters to you personally without being in a world tour competition, then this is how the game is supposed to be. Rough and unforgiving, but also surprising and generous. But let's talk about what bad stuff insurance plays in this game. Now sure, we did talk about insurance making industry weak, and to make industry ISK in this game you need to be in the forefront of patch notes or in the high end of manufacturing. You either need to pay your way into being able to build the new stuff that enters the game, or make profits within the alliance to build large volumes. So this has to change. Also the simplicity of just walking into nullsec without any care. The recklessness of yeeting your ship into any cluster of enemies. Man, I've done that so many times, and you can check my videos for those encounters. But this soulless action do not make the game great. This makes the game boring. So not only does industry have a bad day or years, us players also don't care about our ships just as much. So really having a game where industry ain't important and players' ships ain't important and wins and losses ain't important either gives us a game where nothing is important. And I don't really care what other people say, but insurance must go. But maybe not entirely. So I have a few solutions that I think would work. And if you got solutions, then let me know in the comments. But I will go through my own solutions in order of, I would say, less good to what I feel is the best one. Now, the first solution that I have is if insurance only works for the first 6 months of player experience. This lets all new players lose ships and learn the game without any penalty, or small penalty. I think it's a feasible idea, but far from the best one. And honestly, I don't think that sugarcoating a game in the early phase is the best way in the long term. But if done correctly for new players, then I could see this work. Now the second thought that I have is to always have it active, but only for prototype ships. Now I do like this one better, with a no limit in time, and if you want you could just use it forever, but you are going to be forced to fly less good ships. Even if I feel that this is a better idea, I feel that everyone who stays in the game will stop using insurance altogether, and insurance will just be useless. Yeah, this is actually a less good idea, so put this one above the first one I said. Now we also have an option of only working in nullsec, and I've seen people talk about this too. And sure, that would work well if nullsec is the end game where everyone heads to, which it's not. You know, I want the game to have exciting encounters and missions as well, and having insurance will remove those feelings altogether. This would be a great solution from what we have today, but far from the best one. Because if we in the future will get like updates in high sec with wars, then this would need a change again. So to not make a solution that needs a new solution in the future, I think we need to talk about a better way. I've also heard something in lines with insurance only work on NPC losses, but also here we have the lack of fun engagements and doing stories and encounters, you know, with the full security of insurance. I don't think that is enough. But then we also have remove the insurance entirely, or with a modification of working for only new players. I think this would be really good, almost amazing, but also very harsh. Losing a ship in PvP is one thing, but there are situations where you lose your ship due to miscalculation, or fat fingers, or plain game bugs. And having no insurance gives no freedom to failure. And we will end up with netties having tons of ship tickets, asking for reimbursements. Yeah, that will not help the game either. I think we must have casual players in mind just as much as hardcore ones. If a player never intends to risk their ship and always take precautions and never loses it, you know, flying with the best stuff in game and just enjoying the progress and the environment in the game. So I think it is important to keep the insurance, you know, just to help some situations. And I do feel that this is not the perfect way to handle it. Even if I personally would love this. Just imagine how exciting it would be to jumping through a pipe, you know, or the first jump into nullsec, knowing that you have a 6 billion ship that will actually cost you 6 billion to lose it. So it will be like 6 billion less in your assets. That is a scary and a cozy feeling. I would actually love that. And just to put it out there, like if we would remove insurance totally in the future, then of course we would get the IP that we have collected in Plex at a ratio of 7:1. Don't all be like, you know, no, do not remove the IP. I've invested a lot in it, so I will vote to keep it. No, of course, like if it would be a removal, then we would get that back in Plex. And as a bonus, this will actually push the Plex prices even lower. But yeah, so don't take that into account when we say remove insurance. I mean, the IP that you have still would have a value and you would get it back. Anyway, I think there's a better way. It's already been developed since before, but I have changed it a little bit. So how about you only replace the cost of the market updated hull that you lost, and you would get the insurance in the form of ISK upon the loss of your ship. Now we all heard this before, but I will talk about it anyway. Now this insurance would only be active on the ship that you insured, forcing you to think about if you want to insure in a particular ship. Your PvP ship might be a good one to insure, but maybe even the hauler or your mining ship. There's a risk here that if you buy a ship and insure it, but then you decide to sell it, you will actually lose the insurance ISK that you placed on it. So you need to think about what you're doing. Now here is my addition to this insurance. For the first month of new players, the insurance is free. They basically just need to click insure my ship. This is to learn that there is a feature that we have in the game. Now the second part in this insurance is for below a tech level or within 6 months of the game. During this period, the insurance cost is 10% of the ship value to activate. This lets new players understand and get accustomed to rising value and importance. After the 6 month or a tech level, as I said, or whatever barrier that NetEase would like to have, then the real insurance get active. You will pay 30% for the market value of the hull to get 100% back of the market value hull back. It's important that the value for the hull when you buy this insurance have to correspond to the value when it's being claimed. So if a ship is worth 1 billion when you buy it and you insure it for 300 million, then the payout should be 1 billion when the loss occur, even if the prices for those ships might be 1.5 billion on this tragic day. This reduced the misuse of insurance, and I think it would be the best outcome for this game. Now someone told me that they wanted to be able to sell minerals to NPC, just to be able to force prices of the market not to be so bad or so low. And this is actually a solution for that as well. To prevent a mineral market crash, the ability to build ships, insure them and destroy them would prevent minerals to crash lower than 30%. And if this would be the case, then it would not take long until we have a mineral scarcity within the game and prices will go up again. Because building ships will be expensive and you will only lose this if you continue. Now we could also have a minimum sell price at NPCs to remove minerals when they reach a critical limit, but selling to NPC I feel should be the last resort because the game should focus on having industry mining and PvP working in tandem, resulting in a thriving space economy where all the players have a role to play. And once again, I hope this was entertaining to listen to. But yeah, give me ideas on what you want me to talk about next, and I see you guys again.